Hello, everybody. Welcome to a bit of a different live on Sunday. So, usually we do our Sunday night live show. This one is live. This is a Sunday, but we're doing pre match posh for Tuesday night's game. Massive game away at Stevenage. It's a clash at the top of League One. We're all very excited for it. Let's get into all the action on Borough on My Mind. Well. We're ready. Max, Caden, how are you guys?
I am knackered. I am so tired.
Yeah, it's
But
been
nothing excites me and wakes me up more than a third win on the bounce.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, we seem to be hunting for blood at the minute, don't we, Posh? We're going out there, 2 games, 2 clean sheets, 9 goals. I mean, it's classic Peterborough United under Fergie in League One. It's brilliant to see. Caden, how much are you loving watching your football team play at the moment?
It's great. We're playing really well, getting wins, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's all all the games are really, really entertaining games of football. They're not boring for 1 minute. They're all really good. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Obviously, Posh battered Burton yesterday, 4-0. I know, Max, you weren't at the game, but I know you've probably seen the stuff back because you've probably watched the highlights because you're not Tobber. So I guess you can give us your thoughts. Caden, I know you were there because I sat next to you at the game. What were your thoughts on yesterday's performance?
It was a really good performance. I thought it was very dominant. We had most of the ball. What's so funny, Max?
sorry. Carry on. Sorry.
And yeah, although we probably could have scored more than 4, I thought, especially in the first half, we should have been 2-0 up a little bit earlier. We played very well, and Burton didn't really stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that after a 4-0 win, your biggest complaint is, oh, we probably should have had more, we weren't clinical enough. I think that says a lot about the way we're playing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, with the scoreline, 4-0 was amazing. I have watched the highlights back. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. But what a game it was. I mean, I think the build-up play for Joel Randall's goal, wow. Every goal felt electric. Poku being in the right place at the right time. Mason Clark, 9 goals in the league. Is that in the league or all comps? It doesn't even matter. He's scored 9 goals. It's Christmas. Like at the start of the season, when we all did player ratings, I'd said that obviously coming back from the injury, he hasn't been to his best standard, but he will come back to his best standard. And we're seeing the best of Ephraim Mason Clark now. After, Fergie tried him in that striker position, it didn't work, putting it back on the wing. He's been tearing defenders apart for, since he's really been given that agency to move on the wing again. It was just from everything. Everything was amazing, and it reminded me so much of how dominant we were at the Cambridge game as well. Josh Knight had a fucking phenomenal, excuse my language, an amazing performance. Again, it's unbelievable, and I'm loving it now until chaos in the January window, when I reckon we'll lose not only Ronnie and Jono, but probably Poku as well. But look, if we can keep players and we can sign players as well of equal caliber, I don't see why we can't compete for the league, but at least compete for an automatic position. Because honestly, these last 2 games have really shown, and that massive unbeaten stint as well. Obviously, unfortunate to lose to Wigan on a Tuesday night, and even at the Wigan game, I felt like we could have got so much more from that game as well. We just weren't clinical enough, and it feels like now we've got this cutting edge, and we're completely mauling teams. So no quarrels from me. Phenomenal like performances, and we're having an amazing season.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of automatics there. It's been something that's been banded around in the last sort of day. And I mean, when you look at the fixtures that are going on in the next 2 game weeks, if that's what you call them, rounds of fixtures, they are season defining because obviously we've got Stevenage on Tuesday night. Bolton play, I think, is it Pompey on Tuesday? It's either Bolton Pompey or Bolton Oxford on Tuesday, and then Bolton play the other one next Saturday.
I believe it's Bolton Oxford.
Yeah, Bolton Oxford, and then I think Pompey play Bolton the following Saturday. So really, all the teams at the top of the table, and obviously we play Oxford then, all the teams at the top of the table are going to be dueling it out. And yeah, as you said, automatics, it's something that maybe we seen a pipe dream at the beginning of the season, but maybe is possible now.
I think Stevenage is the first must-win game of this season. If our aspirations are automatics or playoff places, I think actually this is the first. Obviously, Cambridge for bragging rights, but I really do think that obviously Stevenage, we've got a game in hand over Stevenage, but Stevenage are up there and they've been playing really good football. So we've got to win this game to leapfrog Stevenage. If we can get above Stevenage with a game in hand, that's going to be really, really, really key to making sure that we stay in these playoff places or even in the top 3 or 2 over the Christmas break.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Obviously, a stat that has been going around, I think most Posh fans will have seen this stat today, but it feels important to talk about it. In the last 11 games, Randall, Poku, and Ephraim Mason-Clark have got 31 goal contributions between them. That is ridiculous numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, and I am terrified because at the start of the season, I said to one of my friends, if Joe Randall got 15 goals and assists in the league, I'd tattoo him on my body. So I'm in big trouble. I'm in very big trouble.
How many has he got right now?
I think he's on 9 or 10 in the league, and it's Christmas. So I'm
done for.
I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble.
Unless Randall gets an ACL, you may be.
Which I hope he doesn't, because we need him, because he's absolutely phenomenal. I'd rather get him I'd rather tattoo him on my arm than get injured. I think he's brilliant, but it is looking ropey. But 31 goal contributions is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's insane. You think of a dynamic front 3, even a front 4, because we haven't even included Ricky J. Jones into the conversation. And I think he got an assist. He got an assist at the weekend. He scored some goals as well. We might be looking towards the 40 region if we include Ricky J. Jones in the conversation. So our front 4 is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and obviously, Caden, this one's sort of for you. You've probably been watching Posh going to games, and you definitely have a photographic memory of teams better than we do. I mean, Randall, Mason-Clark, Poku, I know they're sort of in a real purple patch right now, but where do they rank in terms of, collective units of attacking players that you've seen at Posh sort of over time?
Well, none of them, I guess they're different type of players, but none of them reach the levels of Tony. I mean, I'd say the similar level to Madison. Maybe better, maybe worse. It's hard to make a judgment without seeing them both playing together. But yeah, I mean, we definitely have the best attack in the league, I think. I'm pretty confident with that. Maybe apart from the striker positions, but
yeah, I mean, it's kind of good. It's good and bad that we don't have an out-and-out number 9, isn't it? Obviously, Clark Harris right now would not work with the way that Randall, Mason-Clark, and Poku are playing. Ricky's off-the-ball work at the moment is absolutely off the charts. I mean, I think it happened 3 or 4 times where he nearly called their keeper yesterday. The pressure he makes, the little darting runs towards the front post that he makes, free up goals like the Randall goal happening. I know he tried to backheel the ball for the Randall goal, but really just that his presence being there just bamboozled the defence of Burton. And yeah, he was very strong. So move forward to Tuesday. Stevenage sit 1 point ahead of Posh with 1 more game played. Obviously, it's getting to the point now, end of November, start of December, where, you can start to look at the league table and it does start to shape up. With that considered, how big do you think this game is, and where do you think Stevenage will be by the end of the season?
I think Stevenage will be mid-table. I don't think that they're going to be up there. I think that you can see the way Steve Evans plays football, a lot of time wasting. I think that in October they played 90 minutes more than any other team. including all injury time. There was a statistic like that going around. So I think that they're going to be on very tired legs. Obviously, I think they're playing phenomenal football at the minute. Clearly they are, because they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. You know, a newly promoted side in fifth is unheard of. And I think actually the way that they've gone up this league reminds me very much of Ipswich in the Championship, you know, flying on all cylinders. However, is that gonna, you know, be on the back burner in the second half of next season? I think that they'll be very good to finish in the playoff places, and I think it's probably possible. But in a realistic world, I think they'll probably slow down a little bit and end mid-table, which is a fantastic season for them. I think this game, as I said earlier, reiterate it again, it's our first must-win game of the season. By the look on Caden's face when I said that, there might be an element of him that disagrees, but I think that a must-win game at this stage of the season, because if Stevenage are up there, then it's a playoff competitor that I think we've got to beat.
Caden, what was your look a disapproving one?
No, I can't say I was listening to what he was saying.
Deary
But,
me.
yeah, Stevenage is an important game, but I would take a point. If I'm honest, I would take a point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good point there. I mean, it's very difficult to get stuff. They've made that home ground sort of a fortress. The pitch is made absolutely perfectly for them. You know, it's narrow. It's perfect to sort of put long balls into the penalty area. You know, that stadium is a fortress for them. Obviously, Stevenage signed half our squad in the summer, and they have our ex-manager in Steve Evans. But, you know, they took a lot of the boys that maybe... I'm not going to say they were unwanted at Posh, because they all had a role during their time there. But, you know, Ben Thompson, Nathan Thompson, Dan Butler, all left. And that's the one, the last one's the one I want to highlight. Dan Butler. Butler against Poku. That's an interesting battle. What do you think is going to come of that?
They will probably be trying to put their best performance on. You know, playing against, you know, Posh, former team. They got something to prove. We got rid of them because they were seen as the weaker players. So I'm sure they'll be at their best. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a hysterical sight when Thompson does the Tomo flop in front of the away end in the first minute of the game. It's going to be a sad sight.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you know, seeing ex-players is never easy. In regards to the Dan Butler Poku debate, I think if Dan Butler can keep Poku quiet, he'll be one of the better, you know, fullbacks in the league, because my God, I don't think there's ever been a fullback this season anyway that I can remember that hasn't been torn a new one by Poku. So I think he'll be one of the better fullbacks that Poku's played if he manages to keep him quiet. But I don't see it as a possibility. I see Poku and Efra Mason-Clark both destroying fullbacks like they've done all season, and I think Dan Butler will be another body to claim.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we just have ridiculously good wingers, but the fullbacks in League One this season have been made to look absolutely atrocious against most teams we've played. I mean, I can't remember a single fullback really having an excellent game against us. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be an interesting battle. Butler's obviously got a bit of physicality. Poku's going to need to be really, really electric to get past him. But yeah, I think if he does bypass him and can get Butler on the back foot, trying to make last-ditch tackles, get Butler being erratic. Obviously, Nathan Thompson, you know, Mason Clark. I remember from the time at Posh, Thompson was a little bit erratic and would often get sent off. You know, it was usually 2 yellow cards sort of thing when they were up against really tricky wingers. So I think knowing Thompson as Fergie does, that will definitely be something that he sort of points Mason Clark towards, trying to get the ball past Thompson, trying to get him to make silly challenges, going down when he feels contact, and see if we can get Stevenage down to 10 men, because that will be a good way that we can try and beat them for sure. Obviously, talking about Stevenage, their game plan, I think, is quite clear once you've watched one sort of 10-minute spell of them. They're a big team. They're a physical team. They like set pieces. They like getting balls into the box. They like making bundles in the 6-yard box. How do you think we're going to deal with that? You know they're going to put some long balls on Bilikapich's head, on Burrows' head. And, how do you think our boys are going to deal with a game that will be so demanding aerially and physically?
Crosses are a weakness. And if they put good crosses in, they'll score goals.
Damn it! I thought it was gonna say if they put a ball in the box, we'll be in trouble, but he didn't.
I thought he was going to cry.
What, me or Kate?
No, Caden.
Well, it's all right. No, but I think as all teams have figured out, Burrows' height anyway and his defensive ability is probably our biggest weakness in that back four. I think Burrows has been electric, by the way, over the last couple of games. I really do think that he's majorly improved. But in that back four, when we've got Kyoso, Knight, Edwards, he is the weakness, and I do think that will be exploited. Considering I believe he's the shortest one in the back four. Stevenage will lump their massive striker in between him and the centre back, and that will be it really. It will be Stevenage's game plan. I don't really see them winning too much in the middle. I think it's going to be centre back to our back line, centre back to our back line. It's going to be very similar to that, and that's how they've been scraping wins recently. Not even scraping, some wins have been great. Obviously, massive respect to Stevenage, but other wins have been relatively poor. A ball lumped up top is what's got them the win and scraped through it. And as I said before, their extra time is ridiculous, and they like to time waste, and I think that's going to also be a downfall for both teams. Eventually someone is going to get injured. Eventually someone is going to get injured, and with our front four being quick attacking players, I think that we're going to end up running out of gas in the tank maybe if they do put that game plan into work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be a really, really physically demanding game. I mean, the good thing about Burton yesterday is after sort of 40 minutes, we could cruise and just knock the ball around. I mean, there was Olays in about the 60th minute from the London Road end yesterday, because it was really, really casual after that point, and we were just knocking the ball around really as if we were playing kickabout in the park. And it was a fantastic performance yesterday. Obviously, a massive game at Stevenage, sold out away end. So if you're there in the chat, if you're going to the game, make sure you make a lot of noise, because Stevenage will be very, very up for it. They'll be very noisy. We'll finish with our predictions as we do in pre-match Posh every time. Obviously, I feel like we may not be as optimistic with this one as we have been in the past. But, if there's any time for optimism, it's now. We'll just show you this quickly. This is the Predictions League standings. We got done by PUFC Stats, so thank you to PUFC Stats. This is how it's looking right now. Not looking great for me, I'm not going to lie to you. Me and Max are in a relegation battle, but it's all to play for. We're not far into the season. And also, if you have any thoughts on what we could do as a forfeit for the loser at the end of the season, send them into us in DMs, in the chat, in the comments, wherever you see this, and let us know, because we will be doing a forfeit for whoever is bottom of that table by the end of the season. Anyway, Caden, we'll start with you. What is your score prediction, and who is your first Peterborough United goal scorer? If you haven't got one, who will be your first booked player?
Last two games have been high scoring. This one, I don't think it'll be as high scoring. I won't go 2-0. I'll go for a well-fought 1-0 win for Posh. And my goal scorer, Collins.
That's an interesting one.
A bit of a rogue shout there, Kate. I quite like the rogue shout. I quite like it. I think we 2-1.
Posh?
I think, yeah, Posh. Sorry, yeah. 2-1? I reckon. I think it's a Peterborough win. First goal scorer, I think it's going to be Randall.
I think, yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's a difficult game. I think I'm gonna go for. I'll go 1-0 Posh, and I'll go Randall as the first goal scorer because I know I always talk about dreams and visions I've had in the past, but I actually did have a dream about Randall scoring last night, and I'll tell you what the goal was. Basically, it was the 73rd minute. Randall has the ball outside the penalty area. He takes it on the outside of his right foot. Just first time, hits it on the outside of his right foot. It loops up and over into the top left corner. Sweet as a nut. And that's how we win tomorrow's or Tuesday's game. So yeah, if that happens, I will be giving myself several bonus points. But yeah.
No, you won't. You
I
played.
will.
You played it very safe. You've gone with the same goal scorer as me and the same result as me because I'm 1 point above you in the table.
I've told you. First of all, I didn't go with the same result. I said 1-0 Posh.
Which is the same. It's a win.
No, okay, but I gave you a detail of how the game is going to be won. What minute, what goal it's going to be.
Because you have a problem. You have a severe problem. You have these weird dreams, and I think you're lying about them half the time, but they're awful.
No,
None of them. I don't think any of them have ever happened.
This one genuinely happened, and you know what, Caden? At the end of the day, I thought it up in my dream, so that's what happened.
You literally made it up on the spot.
I didn't make it up on the spot. I've been thinking about this for the last 24 hours. Absolute limbs. Anyway, thank you guys very much for joining me, Caden, Max. Obviously, a bit of a different one today because it's pre-match Posh is usually a video we do in a shorter format, but just to do with times that we have tomorrow, it's a lot easier for us to do it this way this week. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. You can go back and watch this back afterwards. Leave your thoughts, leave your predictions, scorers. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you on the next one.
No.